Welcome back, guys, to Bald Feather Bets. So we have our third to last week of NFL season here on deck for Sunday. We will give a recap of Thursday night football and then anything look ahead that we have into college football playoff, although we're still not making a play yet, just some nuggets that we have on those. First, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, notifications on, and just support our channel. Biggest thing you can do is make sure you're subscribed. A lot of our data analytics show that we get a lot of viewership from people who are not subscribed, so that's the number one thing you can do to support the channel. But after that, like, share, comment this video, help us get in the YouTube algorithm, and help us grow our base here at Bald Feather Bets so we have a larger community. So Thursday Night Football, where we were on the 49ers, obviously loss for us. I mean, if you'd have told me pre-game you can have the 49ers minus 2.5 and the Rams are going to score 12 points, I would have said, okay, let's go 50 unit play on that, and it still would have lost. So, a lot of missed opportunities for the 49ers early, and then once Stafford kind of settled down and McVay's offense was able to get run and play action late in the game, it's always hard to stop the McVay offense once they get those things going. Pretty much the killer, the decider in that game was Brock Purdy's interception that he threw back right corner of the end zone on the 49ers' second to last drive, really the last drive that had any meaning. The last drive was, I think, 2 plays, 3 plays, sack, game over. Don't know really why he threw that pass. Had a receiver open in the flat, which would have done more to actually serve the 49ers than had they, even if the prayer he threw up to the end zone had turned into a touchdown, sustaining that drive for a longer period of time and then ended up scoring a touchdown later is what the 49ers needed, because the defense at that point was kind of reeling. Dre Greenlaw out. I think you guys all know what happened with Campbell. Wild decision by him to not come into the game. But yeah, at that point they really couldn't stop the Rams from moving down the field, so needed to milk that possession for as long as possible while scoring a touchdown. But Purdy threw the prayer up to the end zone and it got picked. Wasn't anywhere close to Jennings, the wide receiver, and picked off by the Rams. But that's okay. We move into NFL Sunday today. We'll give you every pick against the slate. What this is going to be is all of our early morning games are going to be 2-unit plays, and all of the afternoon games will be 3-unit plays. And then for Sunday Night Football, we'll get to that one here in a little bit. I'll let you guys know what we're thinking. So day games or early plays, we are going to take the Ravens minus the 16. I know it's a big number, but the Giants have there's one thing when you're a bad team, but then you have some positives, like the Raiders are a bad team, but they have Max Crosby. The Browns are a bad team, but they have Myles Garrett. There's things where you can see, okay, in this exact matchup, this team would be able to do X and cover the spread that they're getting plus the number. The Giants have nothing. With Dexter Lawrence out, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't really do much. And the thing that the Ravens have an issue with is defending the pass, but with DeVito at quarterback, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, I mean, the Giants have Malik Neighbors, but they have no one to get him the ball, and you don't run on the Ravens. So this is a really tough spot for the Giants. Ravens coming off a loss, coming off a bye, coming off a game in which Lamar Jackson's mom told him he needed to run more. So I expect a big game here from the Ravens offense and from Lamar Jackson. It's a public play, but we really don't care in this one. I don't think models can actually get this line quite high enough to where it needs to be. I wouldn't be surprised if this game's over at halftime. So Ravens minus the 16 against the Giants. We're taking the Jaguars plus the 3.5 against the Jets. I know sharps like the Jets. I know everyone kind of likes the Jets this week because you have a Mac Jones-led Jaguars team. I just think the makeup and the construct of the Jets right now, especially on defense, is really struggling. Line doesn't really make sense. Line should be a lot higher than it is with Mac Jones at quarterback. But Jaguars were able to get the win last week with Mac Jones at quarterback. We were on the Titans on that one. Unfortunately, Titans drove down to the goal line, did not get a score. Jaguars got the win, 10-6. Jaguars have been playing a lot better towards the end of the season, mainly on defense. They were looking decent with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. Then obviously that dirty hit against the Texans has him out for the rest of the year. I mean, makes sense. Why would you play him for the rest of the year? Get a better draft pick and try to come back at it next year. Seems like they are at least sticking with Doug Peterson through the end of the year, giving him an opportunity to put something together here. We like the Jaguars plus the 3.5. Cowboys-Panthers, we're going to lay the 2.5 with the Panthers. Cowboys season was, killed on just a horrendous play with the blocked punt and then muffed and then recovered by Bengals. Touchdown Jamar Chase. We were on the Cowboys in that game. That was a killer. It's going to be hard for them to get up for this one. Carolina, in the meantime, actually has some things working. Again, Bryce Young quietly playing more like Alabama Bryce Young versus first year and a half Carolina Bryce Young. And we like Carolina in this one to lay it and get it done. You also have more injury news. Stephon Diggs will not be playing for Cowboys. They're reeling really outside of Micah Parsons being back and healthy and playing. We are taking the Saints plus the 7.5 against the Commanders. I know Saints don't have Carr in. I know Commanders looked really good. We were on them last week. They got the blowout, but still concerned with overall that Commanders team. When they don't get up early, have a massive lead early. You know, how do things go? This game's at New Orleans. Fans are still rabid for the Saints. The Saints are 5-8. They're not out of playoff contention. That division is still kind of open. Bucks have been looking really good. But this is a closer game outside of the quarterback than I think people would admit or come to realize. And Alvin Kamara has been playing well for the Saints, so we like him here. It's just too many points plus the 7.5. We're taking the Titans plus the 5.5. Tony Pollard back is a big reason here. Bengals defensively struggling, especially stopping the run. Will Levis can sling it deep, and if the Cowboys had any sort of deep passing game, I think they would have exposed the Bengals defense even more, but nothing about that 27-20 win against the Cowboys last week made me feel any more confident in anything outside of Trey Hendrickson that the Bengals have on defense. With Pollard back, I think the Titans have an opportunity here on the ground to shorten this game, keep this one close. Don't necessarily know if they'll get a win over the Bengals. If Bengals win out, they're a dangerous team. But 5.5 is, again, quite a bit of points for a team that's has nothing on defense. Chiefs-Browns, we like the Browns plus the 4.5 here. This really has to do with how much pressure and how often Patrick Mahomes is getting sacked and then going up against Myles Garrett. Yes, DJ Humphries is in at left tackle. DJ Humphries is an upgrade at left tackle to what they've been having. He's not a Myles Garrett stopper. Not going to see a whole lot, I think, of trying to put a lot on Winston. Obviously, you're going to have to throw, but Browns are going to be running this. There's a lot of wind and rain in this one. If you are an over-under player, this under is all the way down to 41.5. Due to the weather forecast coming out of Cleveland. So like this one to kind of be played in a phone booth, and when you are played in a phone booth, plus 4.5 is a good number to have. Dolphins, Texans, we are taking the Dolphins plus the 3. Texans really have just not been impressive all year long at any facet of the ball. Dolphins, they got that win over the Jets in overtime, gave us the cover last week. Dolphins have to win out, essentially, to really get themselves into playoff contention. They're 6-7, so are the Colts. They're all kind of vying for this last playoff spot. With a healthy Tua, like the Dolphins here, like their ability in a dome to have success on offense against the Texans defense that has not really lived up to DeMeco Ryans' standards this year. And you also have CJ struggling a bit in his second year, which is natural, normal, no issue for CJ, I think, long term, but something that comes into play for the spreads this season. Colts Broncos, that's the last one of our early games. So again, that's the last one of our 2-unit plays. Colts plus the 4.5. Broncos are good. I like them. They're 8-5. You guys know what I think. I think Bo Nix has been the best rookie quarterback in the NFL this year. But the Colts still have a really good team. I know Downs is out, but with Anthony Richardson, with what they do with him, Jonathan Taylor, that offensive line, again, that's another one where they're shortening games. And on the flip side of that, Denver's also trying to shorten games. They're also trying to run the ball, take the heat off of Bo Nix. So it's just, you guys have heard me say 4 is my favorite number in the NFL, because if you have a team up by 3 and another team comes back, scores a touchdown, wins it, well, you get the push with 4. With 4.5, you get the win. So we like the plus 4.5 there with the Colts. So then we move into our afternoon games. There are, I think, 5 on deck for, let me double check. I think we have 5 on my notes. Colts Broncos is an afternoon game. There are 5. Colts Broncos is a 3-unit play. The rest are, so everything before that was 2 units, and then we start with our 3-unit plays at Colts Broncos. So Colts plus the 4.5, 3. We're taking the Cardinals plus the 6.5 against the Patriots. That one's also a 3-unit play. Cardinals are reeling right now. This has been a theme with the Cardinals ever since they've had Kyler Murray. Hot starts to start the year. Teams kind of start to figure them out, and then they fall apart late in the season. It's just too many points. I know it's at the Cardinals, but while that helps the Cardinals, it doesn't hurt the Patriots. It's playing in a dome away. Drake May playing really well. It's just, again, too many points for a Patriots team that's showing signs of putting things together heading into next season. They want to get every win they can, get all the confidence they can with May as they come in for next year, and they've committed now to Gerard Mayo, which I think takes a lot of the kind of drama away from the team that was around there with people talking about, is Gerard Mayo going to be a one and done? We then have the Bucks and Chargers. We are laying the 2.5 with the Chargers. Bucks have been amazing. Bucks have been a great storyline. Bucks traveling all the way from Tampa out to Los Angeles. Chargers defense, which is fantastic, one of the best in the NFL, and Justin Herbert and a healthy team. When I get Harbaugh laying under 3, I tend to like it. He has one of the best winning percentages in the history of the NFL. He's a really good coach. This is a positive for the Chargers. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to look decent in doing so as well. Steelers, Eagles, everyone and their mother taking the 5.5 with Tomlin. I get it. We're going to lay the 5 with the Eagles. The way that the Steelers beat people is they make them throw the ball, and then TJ Watt terrorizes them. Eagles are a different animal. They don't want to throw the ball. They want to run it on you with Saquon. Steelers have shown a bit of issues in defending the run. This one's in Philly. That's one of the toughest places to play. Eagles' pass defense is tremendous. Russell Wilson's been carving apart defenses, but Eagles have one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. I like the Eagles to make a statement here, especially with all the controversy they have in their locker room. I don't think it's all that much controversy. I think it's A.J. Brown being A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's always made statements like that. We like the Eagles in this one. And then Bills-Lions, game of the day. We like the Lions minus the 2.5. A lot is being made of the Lions' injuries. Pretty much everyone's back on defense who isn't a long-term injury. So obviously, like Aiden Hutchinson isn't back. None of the guys on IR are back, like Alex Anzalone. But all the guys that missed the Thursday night game against the Packers, where you had people playing defense for the Lions you never heard of before, they're all back. DJ Reader's back. Aiden McNeil, he cleared concussion protocol. The Bills have issues stopping the run. You cannot beat the Lions if you have issues stopping the run, because David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, Knuckles and Clash, they're gonna run all over you, and then that gets the play action going for Goff, and they're just very difficult to stop. So I like the Lions' chances to get more stops on defense than the Bills here. We're laying the 2.5 with them. So Sunday Night Football, Packers Seahawks. We're gonna come at you a little bit later in the day with a community post on this one, mainly due to this line movement keeps bouncing between 2.5 and 3, and there's even a chance that it's going to go to 2. I want to watch that, and I want to watch that along with as the bets come in to kind of understand what the book is thinking here. Seahawks have been horrendous at home, but this is a difficult travel spot for the Packers. And the Packers are not 100% healthy either. Packers really should have won that game against the Lions last weekend. They kind of had it. Second half had a lead. Lions defense completely reeling. Aim McNeil got ruled out after like the second play, and he was like the only hot spot outside of the secondary that the Lions still had, and the Lions still got it done. I'm not 100% convinced on this Packers team, but I'm not 100% convinced on the Seahawks when they play at home either. Geno has been horrendous up in Seattle. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the weather there, the ball's wet. I don't know what it is, but he's really struggling. So we want to watch this line movement. We want to see how the day goes before we set units on this one. And we will come back at you guys later today with community posts. So looking ahead to, we have 2 games Monday night. Obviously, we'll be back at you tomorrow night with that. But kind of looking ahead into college football playoff at some of this line movement. Every game still above a 7. Penn State and Texas keep climbing. So Texas up to 11.5. Penn State up to a 9 at some books. Interesting on those. I think most people fading SMU, no wins against top 25 teams. This seems like a spot where Franklin's going to win, cover, dominate. When he doesn't go up against elite teams, that's what he tends to do. And then in the other games, you have a lot of people who really like Tennessee against Ohio State. That's a spot where Ohio State, yes, is the home team, but 2-3 and outs from that offense, and all of a sudden it doesn't become a home crowd for Tennessee, but it becomes an anti-home crowd for Ohio State. You're going to get the boos, you're going to get the fire Ryan Day chants, and will they be able to handle that? Or do they come out offensively, open up the playbook, don't hand the ball off and run it up the middle, a bunch of times, score 2 touchdowns, and they got the crowd behind them, and now Tennessee's behind and going up against a Jim Knowles defense that they're not able to overcome. And then in our Indiana-Notre Dame game, that's the Friday night game. People seem to be split on this one. A lot of people saying, hey, this is the best chance at an upset. And then a lot of other people saying, hey, Notre Dame, this is a roster game. And their offense and defensive line of scrimmage will ultimately take over, kind of the way Ohio State did against Indiana. So we're going to monitor all that as the week goes on. And then obviously big weekend for us next. Next weekend, we got Thursday night, we got Friday night, we got Saturday, we got Sunday and Monday. So a lot of plays for us next weekend. We're probably going to fire at you pretty hard on those. But that's it for us. Enjoy NFL Sunday. Hope you guys are getting in the Christmas spirit. If you're with your families already, please enjoy and just support the channel. Having a lot of fun with you guys. Thank you, and go Lions.